Hey, how's it going, everyone? In the last video, we looked at float values in a very basic schedule and saw how they relate to our completion milestone. In this video, we're going to introduce complexity into the schedule and see how float reacts. Looking at our schedule again, we can see the float values are the same within each section of the IMS. You have 31 days here, 16 days here, negative 14 days here. When a series of tasks has the same float value, we would say that they are on the same path to our completion milestone, and the ones with the lowest slack are the critical path. Let's see what happens when we introduce a dependency between the IMS sections. So let's play out a scenario here where we are only going to start designing the invitations after we've inquired on prices. Let's say, depending on how expensive the DJ is, we might spend more on designing our invitations. So let's make that dependency. There's a number of ways to make dependencies in MSProject. The way I'm going to show today is to come up to Task and then open the Details pane. I select that and it pulls up a number of options. You can see I'm selected on Design Invitations Task. You can see the name here, the duration. We can apply a constraint if we like, adjust resources, and adjust the predecessor. So this is what I'm going to do now. So what I want to do is assign a predecessor for design invitations of the Inquire on Prices task above. So looking at the ID of the task, I know its ID is 11. You can see that here. So I'm going to enter that here, 11, and click out of it. And it assigns that dependency. It assigns its own type and 0-day lag. We'll get into those topics later on. So we can see what's happened. Inquire on Prices finishes on 10/13, and now this now starts 10/14. This Inquire on Prices task is now driving out the start of the design invitations, which is what we wanted. So let's click out of the Details pane and see what's happened to our schedule. I'm going to zoom back out to see the entire project. So if I come to View and hit Entire Project, I can now see the entire Gantt chart. Zooming back out, we can see the slack values or float values have changed. No longer do we have clean bucketed amounts the same within that section. You can see we have minus 29 days here and here, minus 14 days here, and minus 29 days again here. What this is telling us is that we have two tasks are pushing the completion milestone 14 days late, but then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the milestone 7, tasks that are pushing us 29 days late. So what is the critical path now? The critical path is now the series of tasks with the lowest slack, as we know. So it's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks. This is where the complexity comes in. No longer is it just a nice bucketed series of tasks within a section of the IMS, but is now split across sections. You can see in the Gantt chart format highlighting in the Gantt chart that it's highlighted red to indicate our critical path. It's worth mentioning quickly here now that these two tasks are also highlighted red. This is the first shortcoming of this highlight critical tasks toggle. Project is highlighting things that have a negative slack. That's what it considers critical. But if we want to be technical about what a critical path is, these two tasks are not on the critical path. This is where this tool starts to fall short, and we have various other ways to analyze the critical path. So looking at a high level, it's quite difficult to see the path clearly between all of these tasks. So what we really need to do is learn to group these tasks in a certain view. And that's what I'm going to do in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.